Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Military Mayday. We're pointing out a few pieces on the chessboard. Got a few stories to go over here. One of them is U.S. strikes more than 85 targets in Iraq and Syria in initial barrage of retaliatory attacks. Well, gee, Joe, good job. It's about time. I mean, we're about a month behind schedule, I'd have to say, sitting there shutting down certain shipping lanes. We're going to get into this one. It's a long story. We're not going to hit too much on it. Another part that goes with it, Biden says U.S. strikes on Iranian linked targets will continue, whatever the hell that means. Iranian linked. Um, this should have been nipped in the bud before it ever got anywhere. Rip from Indiana, Jim Lucas shows his holstered gun to student advocating for gun control. It's kind of nice to see a actual politician carrying a fucking sidearm around. You don't have any security with him either, don't look like. Carl Weathers, athlete turned actor. He starred in Rocky movies and Mandalorian dies. He was in Star Wars. No, he wasn't in Star Wars. I'm sorry. He's in Predator, Action Jackson. He did some other movies here and about. He was one I remember when I was growing up as a kid. Seemed like he was, trying to do good acting. So we're going to get into these here, but before we do, smash that like button, subscribe. More people might want to hear this information. United States launched attacks Friday against 85 sites in Iraq and Syria used by Iran forces and Iran-backed militants. Its first retaliatory strike for the killing of 3 American soldiers in Jordan last weekend, U.S. officials said. U.S. military forces struck targets at 7 facilities tied to attacks on U.S. personnel in the region. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters U.S. Central Command said the facilities included command and control operations, intelligence centers, rockets and missiles, and drone storage sites. Our response began today. It will continue at times and places of our choosing, President Biden said in a statement. The United States does not seek conflict in the Middle East or anywhere else in the world. But let all those who might seek to do us harm know this. If you harm America, we will respond. We'll respond a few months later. Where's that at, Joe? Maybe even a year later. The military action is a significant escalation in Washington's bid to deter the growing threat from Iran-backed groups across the Middle East, a step fraught with risk abroad and at home, as Biden seeks to prevent the Israel-Hamas war from spiraling into a wider conflict while working to secure his re-election. The Biden administration has made clear that the U.S. will take military action after the drone attack by Iran-backed militants at a remote U.S. base in Jordan, in which more than 40 others were wounded. Let's go down here to the bottom. There's a little something interesting. We will not start any war, but if anyone wants to bully us, they will receive a strong response, Iranian President Raisi said in a televised speech Friday. We hear threats coming from the American officials. We tell them that they have already tested us, and we know now that of one another no threat will be left unanswered, the chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Hussein Salami, said Wednesday. Iran there has a bunch of proxies that they run, and technically you could say they've started some. But as far as Iran itself, they haven't started any wars, but they have defended themselves and quite well, by the way. The last time U.S. targeted an Iranian ship was in 1988 when the Navy launched retaliation attacks in the Persian Gulf after an American vessel was hit by a mine planted by Iran. It's interesting. Yeah, and they're going to be doing more, so we're going to be hearing more about these bombings. There's going to be people against it, and there'll be uprising and all that stuff. Video taken by high school students shows an Indiana lawmaker flash a gun to students who were visiting the state house who talked to legislators about gun control. A student from Boris Laboratory School in Muncie told the Associated Press that she and 4 other students were at the state capitol on Tuesday to participate in a day of advocacy with students demand action and arm of every town for gun safety. Well, these ladies here need to understand that, you're the ones that really need the fucking firearm. And, really bad shit happen. If you look at the amount of rape and murder that goes on as far as women go, I mean, you'd think every one of them would want a fucking gun in their hand. But it's hard to get any of them to shoot one. Lucas, a Republican from Seymour, and the group then conversed outside. Oh, I guess I missed something here. Gun rights. Republican from Seymour and the group conversed outside the elevator. One of the students filmed the interaction as it was filmed by the State House File, the student journal site, Franklin said. Well, you know what? I mean, it's your right to carry a firearm. It's your right to have a firearm unless you have committed crimes that keep that from you. And personally, if they're not a firearm committed offense, I wouldn't see why you would lose your firearm rights, but whatever. It's how it is. I have my right to carry firearms. Carl Weathers, athlete turned actor, dies. Carl, a former NFL linebacker, became a Hollywood action movie and comedy star, playing nemesis turned Ali Polly Creed in the Iraq, facing off against Arnold Schwarzenegger, Predator, teaching golf to Happy Gilmore. Yeah, he wasn't Happy Gilmore. Matt Luber's manager said Weathers died Thursday, local time. His family issued a statement saying he died peacefully in his sleep. Comfortable flexing his muscles on the big screen in action, Jackson was joking around the small screen at such shows as Arrested Development. Weathers was perhaps most closely associated with Creed, who made his first appearance as the cocky, undisputed heavyweight world champion in '76 Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone. Puts you on the map and makes your career, so to speak, but that's one-off. So you've got to follow it up with something. Fortunately, those movies kept coming, and Apollo Creed became more and more in people's consciousness and welcome in their lives. And it was just the right guy at the right time. Most recently, Weathers had starred in Disney Plus hit The Mandalorian, appearing in all 3 seasons. We lost an icon, the Predator co-star Ventura wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Carl Weathers was a phenomenal talent, a true professional, and a dear friend. Creed, who appeared in 4 Rocky movies, memorably died in the ring in '84, against the Russian. A bloody Creed followed in the ring, blah, 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 blah. His character, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, okay. Others went on in '87 for Predator. Where's Action Jackson's at? Doesn't talk about any of those. You're up knew that Weathers stated performing in plays as early as grade school and high school. Athletics took him down another path, but he would reunite with his first love later in life. Weathers played college football in San Diego State University. He majored in theater and went on to play 1 season in the NFL for the Oakland Raiders in 1970. When I found football, it was a completely different outlet. It was more about physicality. You needed some smarts because there were playbooks to study and film to study. I don't know, you need smarts and running simple plays. I mean, after the Raiders, he joined the Canadian Football League, playing for 2 years. After appearing in several films, TV shows, I told Hollywood Reporter he started an iconic franchise. Yeah, he's dead. I don't want to read a book about him. But yeah, I remember watching him. He was a pretty good actor. He did some pretty good movies. I don't think he ever hurt nobody or anything. Not that I know of. Don't really care either. But anyway, like, subscribe, toodaloo.